Welcome back to AM Northwest. You know, you're more than a number on a scale or the size on your clothing label. In 2024, stop looking for what's wrong and start embracing what makes you, you. Here to share her confidence boosters, we welcome back makeup artist and esthetician Meghan Hamilton. Great to see you.
Thrilled to be here.
Yes, you know, I saw you post a video where you talked about what it's like to be seen as a big girl, essentially, and the confidence that you need to have and all of that. So let's talk about it. We are not a number on a scale.
No, and I think one of the things that people are often surprised by is how confident I am. And I just wanted to share that because I'm in the business of women and I see so many different people. And I think I had a real light bulb moment about 10 years ago. I was doing a spray tan on a woman that socially fit every beauty standard that we have out there. And the first thing she did was complain.
In that she was thin?
Thin, I mean, looked like, if I looked at her, I'd be like, you look like a supermodel to me. First thing she does is complain about some cellulite in her butt, this, and I was just like, I had this aha moment where I was like, oh, the game's rigged.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't even get to feel good about yourself, we gotta figure out something else. I gotta figure out how outside of the way I look, what I have on the inside that can project out, because I think I'm a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But also the way I carry myself, I think
that's
just
beauty right there.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have some ideas, and I think the most important one is to talk about being authentic.
Yes, absolutely. So I recently was going to a networking event, and it was cowgirl and pearl theme, neither of which is my journey. Like, that's not, God bless, like, do whatever you like is a big message for me, but that is not for me. Okay. And so I was like, I don't want to show up feeling costumey.
Right.
I don't want to go in there and be like, hey, like with my cowboy hat on, because that's going to take me out of my own space.
Right.
And what I need to feel is grounded and feeling like I can talk to people and not be like, hey, do I look like a weird, like I didn't want to go do it, you know? So I thought that sparked up an idea for that video that I made, because I was like, how do I show up authentically? And that's one of the things, is knowing who I am.
Right.
Like, I think I'm pretty, but I'm also really smart, and I'm really funny, and I'm a good friend, and I care about people. Like, all those things bring me through in the world, and then my service to others, like in the beauty world, is something that gives me so much confidence.
Right. And then you also talk about being one-on-one with people and being authentic there as well, being comfortable.
Yes. And I think
that's beautiful.
Thank you. And I think that's people connect to that. Like, that's the number one thing, is I look at people in the eye when I speak to them, and if someone, you know, if I was late for something and I look at them and say, thank you so much for waiting for me. Yeah. Rather than like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. As women, we like, our social currency is oftentimes like being small, apologizing. You have to look perfect at all times. Like, you know, that whole Barbie speech that just happened that was like, how to be a woman is impossible. But but I think when you have a really good network of women too, like I have really, really great friends that are all, they really show up in their lives, and I feel like that elevates me to the space where I want to be there as well and show up for other women.
Right. And you show that authenticity also in your clothing choices.
Yeah, and I think like you don't have to be attached to a number on your pants. Do what feels good and looks good on you. Right. I think so often we get caught up in, I need to be a size 6, or this needs to fit like this, or I used to look like this. And I've had many iterations of weight in my life, but I always dress for how I want to feel confident and I want to present myself in the world. And it's really important to then, it takes one more thing off your brain you have to think about in a social setting, is if you already feel confident. So for me, that's makeup. Also, like, if I was coming on this show today and I didn't have makeup on, I wouldn't feel the same way that I do with it. And that's
also your art.
Yes. Right. And it's not everyone's journey too. Like, I really appreciate that however you feel best to show up is how you should show up. Right. And one of the coolest things with my salon too is that we really honor that for people. So I think sometimes women are intimidated in beauty spaces that we're gonna be judging and looking at you and thinking all the things that are wrong with you. And one of my favorite things is to listen to what someone wants, figure out who they are, and then watch the glimmer in their eye as you do something that's like, oh, that makes me feel good about myself. And I took 15 minutes to invest in me, when so often women don't do that. Right,
oh, that makes sense. And then friendships.
Yes, yeah, my girlfriends and the people that I surround myself, even my partner, like I pay attention to the way other people speak to each other. Often, like, I'm very much an observer. And I like to be around people that lift each other up, that are the people that look around a room for a solution, not a problem. Yeah. It's doing little things like that throughout your day just give you that foundation to stand on that's totally different than when you don't have that support system.
Right. So when you're on the show, you always talk about makeup. But talk about how we can control our outer to embrace our inner if we're feeling good on the inside.
Yeah, so look good, feel good is a real thing in my opinion. Right. But like I said, it varies person to person. There's not a one size fits all. But I make sure that I do makeup tips and tricks that make me feel good. I style my hair. I add a little spray tan. Like last night I put a little self tanner on. That doesn't have to be what everybody likes to do, but I know sitting here I'm gonna feel better looking in that monitor, that I feel like with these bright lights, I'm showing up in a way that I can have my shoulders back and I'm not like, oh, that looks weird, or I don't like that. Or I think it's just little things like that. It's investing in caring about yourself. So however that looks for you. It doesn't have to be a face full of makeup, but if it is, embrace that. If it's, you know, going and getting a massage every 2 weeks, something like that, where you're taking time to say, I matter and I am an important person.
And relationships.
Yes, yeah.
So talk to me about how you feel the importance of relationships and who you invest in.
Yeah, I think that some of my best girlfriends and the people that I really count as a team, like I would say quarters versus pennies. You need to have people that are really like, you want to have quality versus quantity. And I've been around, especially as I've gotten into my 40s now, like I look back on interactions where I'm like, that socially drained my battery or that added to my life. And so all my girlfriends are people that show up authentically in their life. They're really career driven, because for me that helps me pour into my own cup, because as an entrepreneur I have to be able to do that for myself. And just people that speak positively about one another, and I love community and collaboration rather than competition.
Do you ever have people say something negative to you? Like how are you so confident?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's almost so that it's maybe not, it's more layered than that.
You mean it to be a compliment,
yes,
but
or your
it's not.
face is so pretty.
Yeah.
I get, your face is so pretty a lot, and I'm like, it is very pretty, thank you. But, but I think that people don't mean it. I think a lot of women are just so wrapped up, especially I watch as women get older. They really have a hard time when their value that they've figured out for themselves in their life is how they look, and those looks start to fade or tweak, or men don't pay attention to them in the same way. I see this like shrinking and this sort of like frantic energy to get back to a place that they thought that they were the best. And it just, I think it's so important to figure out what you value about yourself completely outside of the way that you look, and then do things for your outside appearance that then help you show up, so they're layered on top of one another in a big confidence.
I've noticed that you attract people to you.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, thank you. My boyfriend says that all the time. Like I get, like when we're out places, I have people come up to me quite often and be like, you're so pretty, or you're so this, and which is lovely. And I think it makes me feel good too, because you do have this air about you, and you stand up straight and you walk with confidence, and it attracts people to you. Thank you. And I think instead of fake it till you make it, we have a phrase we're doing this year in the salon that's show up until you glow up. So it's just like, you're not faking anything, but you do put one foot in front of the other every day.
Great. Thank you so much,
Thank
Meghan.
you so much, Helen.
All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.